Ah, Pat the NES Prat. What a clown you are. Never seen any of your videos before this one, but I'd heard just how much of an ignoramus you are when it comes to talking about things you have absolutely zero knowledge about. And one of them turns out to be the Intellivision Amico, a console which you've never seen in the flesh. A lot of other YouTubers have, but you seem to be a world expert on it, even more than the people actually making the thing. And their big event was on Wednesday of last week, and it was almost a full week before Pat the NES Prat made a video about it. I understand their sort of weekly things fall on a Tuesday, possibly on a Wednesday, because I don't know, it shows up as the 12th of August on the video on my screen. But yeah, it seems to have taken you a whole week to make a video about moaning. Oh dear, what a sad little man you are. But let's just have a listen to just some of the rubbish you come out with.
I mean, things like, and I want to, say that I'm not trying to sound harsh on any of these devs.
They're showing 40-year-old pictures of like Christmas.
Yes. Right. This is a guy who's not leaning on nostalgia.
So I don't know what their issue is here. I mean, the Intellivision was around in the it was about the early 80s. I forget exactly when the Intellivision was released. I know the Atari VCS, or Atari 2600, as it was always called, the VCS in the UK. That was late 70s into the early 80s. That was the console I had. It was the console my friends tended to have because it was a cheaper one than the Intellivision. So if you're all going to get the same console basically, so you can all sort of play the same games, and that's the one we had. And they're moaning about just Intellivision showing their roots by showing, pictures of Christmas from the time gone by. What's the problem with that?
Right. This is a guy who's not leaning on nostalgia.
That's what we're always told.
That's what we're always told.
Can we stop? Can we just call Tommy a liar at this point when it comes to stuff?
Yeah.
I think if anyone needs to be called, it's Pat the NES Prat. Needs to be called. Someone needs to call his hairdresser to come round. I mean, a lot of places have come out of lockdown to a degree, but you can actually go to your hairdressers now and get a quick trim. Well, it's not a quick trim. I had a haircut. It took twice as long as it would do normally because I had like 4.5 months of hair on there, and I normally go for like 2 months tops, and it's an absolute mop. But Pat seems to be stuck in his basement. Maybe his mum's locked him in, and she won't let him out. And well, quite frankly, if he was locked in my basement, well, I think I'd probably pump some carbon monoxide in there. But if he was locked in my basement, I think I wouldn't let him out either. So he certainly looks like he needs a good wash, as does his friend, who seems to be trying to develop some sort of man bun there.
You announce a Sesame Street game, but don't show it. You announce a Hot Wheels collaboration. You don't show it. You talk about your MLB licensing. You don't show it.
Yeah, these are called announcements. Have you heard of announcements, Ian? Announcements are when you make an announcement about a game that's coming out at some point, and sometimes they have teasers for them. Sometimes they just have nothing other than the name. Look at when Xbox first showed Battletoads. I mean, I know that's not come out yet even, but when they first showed Battletoads on the E3, was it a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I forget when exactly, it was just the name. That was it. Nothing more than that. It's an announcement. Nothing more has come out of it yet. Patience, my pet.
I have no idea who that was supposed to appeal to, or why you would need 3 minutes of gameplay of Astro Smash, other than to just fill time.
Like when you have your lead-off game, it's supposed to be like, hey, this is the killer, like the first and the last games, right? When you do these presentations.
Yeah, so you're moaning about them showing gameplay. I mean, later on, they moan about the fact that they're just showing trailers, or not showing. Well, obviously they've already said that. Moaning that not showing any gameplay at all, just for those announcements. And now they're moaning that they're showing gameplay. Well, yeah, I mean, you have an event, people want to see gameplay, you show them gameplay, and these idiots still moan about it. What the hell do you want? You don't want gameplay, but you don't want not seeing gameplay. God, it's like there's one brain cell and it's trying to fight its way between the two of them to sort of get into one of their heads, and between the two of them, I think the one singular brain cell is probably up to left both their bodies, and it's probably already escaped the cellar, and it's gone out to find a proper job.
A lot of dev time. They almost have as much dev talk as showing gameplay, which was an interesting strategy.
Okay, this is about the only thing I will agree with them on. There was a lot of time where we just saw people talking about things. It was an hour and 20 minutes of a presentation. So you could have, if I'd known how long it was going to be beforehand, then I would have said, well, you can cut that down. But so that's the only thing I will agree with them on. That you could cut down on just a lot of the talk because people just want to see the games.
Lots of these games look like they could be kind of fun to play.
Here's Cornhole.
For a little bit of time. But none of these are selling me on a $250 system.
So now they're moaning that the console isn't worth $250 that they're asking for it. I mean, to me, the console looks like they're aiming for the same market that the Wii originally had when that was released in late 2006. So was it 2006? Yes, I just checked. It's 2006. And it was an incredibly successful console. And do you know what price that was released at? $250. $250. So you're moaning that sort of this generation's Wii is $250, even though the original Wii was $250. And that was a massive success. So what's your point, Ian? The man bun?
I know that some of these are popular, so I guess that's good if they can start development on these. But we'll get into that.
Oh, we'll get into that. That phrase came up like about at least 10 times during this 42-minute rant or moan. It's just like every time they said, "Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that." They never did get into it. They just said, "We'll get into that. We'll get into that."
You see the menu there, the little Android menu. He goes to the games here, so it brings him out of sleep mode, which is nice. He's going to select skiing. Cuts the controller. So this is why it was important to say, is this console fully functional? Because if you boot from cold, Ian, what that tells you is that the drivers and everything is all natively loaded. It can run your software without any load up from like a Linux fucking prompt. Everything is ready.
All this means is that it was put into a comfortable state and then slept.
Yeah, it was probably loaded into an Android emulator, and it was slept. You bring it back.
But this isn't like the Atari VCS supposedly playing Tempest 4000, a game which Llamasoft had to confirm was not even made for the VCS, and which Atari later admitted was faked on a PC. The Amico is a console which has been confirmed as a working console and seen in the flesh by YouTubers like Smash JT. And when I say seen in the flesh, I don't mean like James Woods in Videodrome, and if you haven't seen that film, you really should. They also talk about how a lot of the games aren't available yet. Well, there's a reason why the games have been delayed, and it's for the same reason that the console has been delayed, and it's all been in the news lately. Try paying attention, fella.
We say this game. We've never said this was a scam.
No, I never said it was a scam.
But this is becoming a house of cards, though.
It's a fucking mess. That's what it is.
It's a precarious house of cards that any one thing goes wrong, this is sunk. I think an investor or two pulled out earlier in the year, probably even before, for whatever reason. They don't have the money, I think, to get to market, potentially. At least not with all these games. I think they're in trouble. And they need investors. That's my professional opinion.
Professional opinion. There's nothing professional about anything this idiot says. He's making videos in his mum's basement such that it looks. The only thing I can agree with, I did mention one other thing earlier, but the only other thing I can agree with is that they're not sure that GameStop will be around by the time April comes around. And GameStop is one of the companies you can pre-order this from. Now, I think their console is a purple one as well, which looks really cool. However, you look on GameStop, and as of the making of this video, their site has disappeared. Have they gone under already? And that's what you get when you actually Google GameStop and go to the page for the Amico itself. In watching this video, both Pat and Ian look physically bored making their videos. They look like they're at the point of making so much content that it now feels like work, and that they want to give it up. But they can't, because it is their work. What do you think about these two clowns? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And also about GameStop. Have they finally gone under? In the meantime, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the little bell for all notifications, and cue danger. That's all, folks. Cue Genesis.